You're not burnt out. You're emotionally starved. You don't need more discipline. You need more peace. You're not tired because you did too much. You're tired because nothing you do feels meaningful anymore. You're not failing, you're fading. And the system prefers you that way. Exhausted, quiet, obedient, but deep down, something in you is still alive, still angry, still searching. And that part of you, that's what this video is speaking to. Now, let me tell you what I'm showing you in this video. I'm not just talking about burnout. I'm exposing the emotional emptiness behind it, the lie of hustle culture, the invisible weight of perfection, the numbness you mistake for peace. I'll show you why rest never feels like recovery, why you're stuck in performance mode, and how the most radical thing you can do is stop. So stay with me, because once you understand what's really happening to you, you won't see burnout the same way again. Burnout isn't rare anymore. It's not a breakdown. It's the baseline. You wake up tired, you feel guilty for resting, you measure your worth in output. You used to work to live. Now you live to work, and you call it purpose, but deep down you feel it. This isn't balance. This is quiet suffering with a schedule. They told you to hustle, to grind, to stay consistent, but no one told you that one day you'd become a machine, smiling while breaking inside. This is not ambition. This is survival, with a smile on your face, and you wonder why you can't breathe right anymore. They never forced you to work like this. They just made you believe your value depends on it. Now, you say yes before you think. Now you chase goals. You don't even feel. You don't rest because you're human. You rest so you can produce more. That's not self-care, that's maintenance. And they call it freedom, but it's just self-exploitation. Byung-Chul Han calls this the achievement subject. You are no longer oppressed from the outside. You are driven from the inside by pressure, by guilt, by invisible expectations. And the cruelest part, you blame yourself for feeling broken in a system designed to break you. You take a break, but you don't feel rested. You sleep in, but wake up tired. You stay off your phone, but still feel drained because your exhaustion isn't physical. It's emotional. It's existential. You're not tired from what you do. You're tired from why you do it. Every action, every goal, every task carries the same silent question, am I enough yet? So even your rest becomes performance. Even your silence feels like failure, and no amount of sleep can heal a soul that's been starving. No one's standing over you, no one's forcing you to work more, but somehow you never stop. You've become your own boss and your own slave. You push yourself harder than anyone else ever could because you've internalized the pressure. Now you chase deadlines like survival. Now you punish yourself for slowing down, and they call it ambition, but it's just exhaustion dressed in goals. Byung-Chul Han warned us, this is the violence of positivity, where you're no longer exploited by others. You're exploited by your own desire to be enough. This isn't freedom. This is silent burnout, disguised as success. They told you you're free, that you can choose your path, build your brand, follow your passion. But what if your freedom is just an illusion, a curated set of choices shaped by invisible forces? You scroll because you want to. You post because you feel like it. But every click, every tap, every decision is guided by algorithms you never see. You're not choosing. You're reacting. And they call it freedom. But it's just control with prettier packaging. Byung-Chul Han said, we've replaced obedience with self-discipline. And in doing so, we've made slavery feel like empowerment. Your brain is never quiet. Your attention is never still. You jump from reel to reel, from dopamine hit to dopamine hit, and you call it staying informed. But it's not connection, it's noise, it's addiction. Every scroll pulls you further away from yourself. You feel everything, yet nothing. All at once, you're overstimulated but undernourished. You've traded emotional depth for constant distraction. Byung-Chul Han called this the society of transparency, where we share everything but feel almost nothing. You're not numb because you're weak. You're numb because your soul can't breathe in this chaos. You're not just working, you're performing. Even your peace, even your healing, even your rest has to be shown, has to be shared, has to be approved. You post your progress, you track your sleep, you optimize your habits, and somewhere in all that noise you forget how to just exist. You're no longer living for yourself. You're living to be seen. And the saddest part, you don't even notice it anymore, because performance has become your personality. Byung-Chul Han said, We live in an achievement society where self-presentation replaces self-understanding. You've mastered the art of looking fine while dying quietly inside. You're not overworked, you're underfelt. It's not your body that's breaking, it's your ability to feel, to care, to connect. You go through the motions, smile when expected, deliver what's required. But inside, you're hollow. This is emotional starvation. Not from lack of people, not from lack of noise, but from the absence of real connection. We've replaced intimacy with interaction. We've replaced presence with productivity, and we wonder why we feel so alone. You're not craving attention, you're craving depth, and this society doesn't feed that. It keeps you full of content and empty of meaning. Byung-Chul Han said, "We are not living in a dictatorship of fear. We are living in a society of pressure, where we willingly destroy ourselves in the name of freedom. No one punishes you. No one controls you. You do it to yourself, in silence, with a smile." This is the burnout society, where positivity is violent, where overachievement becomes self-harm, and where saying "I'm tired" feels like failure. You are the prisoner and the guard at the same time. You don't collapse because you're lazy. You collapse because you've been carrying too much for too long without being seen. You're always improving, always upgrading, always becoming, but never arriving. You chase goals that move further every time you get closer. You celebrate progress, but feel empty the next day because the system feeds you a silent fear that who you are now is never enough. So you keep fixing, keep building, keep running, but you don't know where to. And when you stop for a second, it hits you. You don't remember who you were before the chase began. Byung-Chul Han called it self-destruction by freedom, where you push yourself endlessly, not because you have to, but because you no longer know how to stop doing nothing. Feels wrong. It makes you anxious. It makes you feel guilty. It makes you feel useless because you've been trained to equate rest with failure, silence with laziness, stillness with weakness. But what if doing nothing is the only way to hear yourself again? What if stillness is the space where your soul returns, where your real needs speak and your real healing begins? This world doesn't want you quiet. It wants you busy, distracted, consuming. But when you do nothing, you disrupt the machine, you reclaim your time, you reclaim your mind. Stillness isn't a pause, it's power. You don't need to fight louder, you need to stop playing their game. Log off. Turn down the noise. Let the world spin without you for a while. Because the real rebellion today is to be unavailable, to be present, to be human. Say no without guilt. Rest without apology. Feel without filters. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to be productive every hour. You don't need to be seen to be real. Byung-Chul Han said, "The system collapses, not with noise but with refusal. Stillness is your protest. Silence is your shield, and disappearing might be the most powerful move you make. You weren't born for endless deadlines. You weren't made to live in tabs and tasks. You were built for depth, for stillness, for meaning. But somewhere along the way, you forgot. You forgot how to sit with yourself, how to enjoy boredom, how to feel something real without sharing it online. The way out isn't found in another hack, another hustle, another goal. It's found in slowing down and listening, in remembering that your value was never in your output." Byung-Chul Han reminds us, the human soul wasn't designed for optimization. It was designed for presence. And now, it's time to return to it. You were never the problem. Your exhaustion is not a flaw. It's evidence that something deeper in you is still alive. You feel burnt out because you've been giving too much to a world that gives nothing back. But that tired part of you, that broken part, that quiet ache, is not weakness. It's your signal. It's your soul calling you back home. You don't need to become more. You need to remember who you were before they told you you weren't enough. This is not failure. This is awakening. You're not lazy. You're emotionally starved. And now you finally know why. The healing doesn't begin with doing more. It begins with doing less, with feeling more, with reclaiming what this world made you forget. You're not here to perform. You're here to live. And that begins now.